Hello, so today I've decided to do a video all about university, my thoughts about university, everything you need to know about university. So whether you're thinking about going to university, you're currently at university, or you've graduated from university, or you didn't go to university, then watch this video. But what I'd like to do is create kind of like a community with this video. So if you have any other thoughts about university, if you agree with me or disagree with me on anything, leave a comment below if you have any questions about university, and then we can all chat in the comments. And yeah, it should be like really nice for people who are kind of wondering about university, or if you just want to share your experience at university. So someone actually commented and asked me to film this video, so thank you for that. If you guys want me to film anything, please do leave comments below and then I can film them. So let's start. So first of all, deciding whether or not to go to university is a bit of a weird one. I feel like in high school, in British high school anyway, you are kind of forced. It's kind of like a natural progression. So you go to college or sixth form and they kind of say to you, okay, UCAS applications, time to apply, and you kind of don't really have the option. For me it was like, well, of course I'm going to go to university, what else am I going to go and do? It's crazy. And I mean, my brother went to university, so it was kind of like the done thing that he went, so I was going to go. He was the first person in my family to go. My mum and dad both have really great jobs and they didn't go to university, but back in the day not many people did go to university. And I spoke to my mum about this over and over again, and her kind of opinion is, unfortunately, because everyone does go to university now, many jobs do kind of expect you to have some form of degree because it's more competitive, because you are up against people with degrees, but obviously it completely depends what job you want to go into. I would say choose your subjects wisely when you are in school, sixth form. It's really difficult because, I mean, looking back now, I did the wrong degree, so it is very difficult, but you should try and have in the back of your mind, they didn't tell me this at sixth form, but you should have in the back of your mind, okay, I want to study maths, for example, at university, or psychology, and then you need to think, okay, so what subjects do I need to then put on my personal statement? So it could be something like, well, you need biology. So a lot of courses at university, for example, psychology, I know that you do need to have a good mathematics grade in GCSE, and you also should have probably done a science. I'm sure that was one of the things at Leeds University if you wanted to do psychology, so it's worth looking into all of that stuff. Also, if you decide not to go to university, that is not a bad thing at all. You're going to watch this video and realise that there are so many ups and downs to university, and actually I have so many different thoughts about university. So let's do this. So halls, I would highly recommend moving out. I know a lot of people that lived at home during university, and I always say to people, university is not just about studying. In fact, this is going to sound really bad, but studying is kind of like the bottom thing that you do at university. It's all about the life experience, and I would not have got any of the life experience without actually physically moving out to my house and living there. It's kind of like everything your parents tell you not to do. They move you away from home into a random house with strangers, and it costs a lot of money. I applied for halls online when I got my place at Leeds University, and I ended up in the most expensive halls in the country. And this was like the worst mistake I made. So make sure you research halls. What do you want from your halls? The halls that I was in was like the most boring thing ever. I think it depends on which floor you were in. So we kind of segregated, like Matt was on the floor above me and he's got friends for life. I was on a pretty crappy floor, and in all honesty don't really speak to anyone anymore from university. I think, if I'm honest, my biggest mistake with university was going in those halls, because it really meant that I just made barely any friends, and I wish I kind of went into more of a fun hall than a convenient hall. I chose some student accommodation that was right on campus and my food was made for me. I was very lazy, and I did have fun in first year, but I didn't make friends for life, and I really wanted to make friends for life. And I think that's another point to get onto. So you kind of feel like you have to make these friends for life at university, and I was kind of thinking every single month at uni, like, when is this going to hit me? When am I going to make my friends for life? And I remember saying to my brother, because he made great friends, I was like, when did it happen? Like, was it September? Was it Freshers Week? Was it February? Was it final year? And for me, that never really happened. I always really wanted to have this amazing group of friends, and I never really got that. Instead, I kind of have loads of different friends dotted everywhere, which is great, but I never had that like cliche group of friends that you kind of see in films and that everyone appears to have from university. It's a myth. It's only some people I find are really lucky at university to go and meet a lot of people there and become the best of friends with all of them. I also found that no one from my school went to Leeds University, so that made it really difficult because I was literally a fresh fish in a pond with all new people, which to some people is great, but all of my friends went to Newcastle, so I'd see them on pictures and there'd be a huge group of them with new people, but they kind of had each other to bounce off, which was quite nice. So I always kind of thought, should I have just gone somewhere that other people were with? So speaking of friends, university is really weird because you kind of go to university and you expect to meet friends who are exactly like your friends from home. I got there, and at first I was kind of a bit like, what? I don't like any of these people, which was totally judgmental and mean, but that was like the high school mentality I was in. And actually, you've just got to give new people a chance because there are so many great people at university. My biggest annoyance is that I graduated and I feel like I was so busy doing other stuff, like my blog, that I didn't really even put the time aside to go and talk to all of these people. I always think, like, when you're sat on a train, I just want to go down the train and be like, what's your story? There's so many amazing people. And I do feel like there'll have been so many people at Leeds Uni that could have potentially been like really good friends to me, but I just didn't find them because there's so many people at the university. So I would definitely say living away from home is amazing. Learning to cook, going through a lot of nights out, having the tears and the tantrums and washing your own clothes, that kind of thing, genuinely does change you as a person and makes you grow as a person. So if you can, I really do think it's something you should do, because for me that was like the main thing of university. Obviously choosing the right course. So universities are really good in the sense that if you decide that it wasn't the right course for you, they do tend to let you change, but to kind of get rid of all of that faff. I mean, it's stressful enough moving away from home to a new city anyway. To get rid of all of that stress, I would say just choose the right course in the first place. It's something you're going to be doing for like 3-4 years, so make sure that you actually like it. I originally applied for something like really academic, and then I changed my mind literally 10 minutes before I was meant to send my application off, and decided to study something a bit more creative. Because I went to Leeds University, which is a Russell Group university and a Redbrick university, so it is like really academic, I felt okay doing more of a creative course there because I did do like law modules and politics modules and stuff, so I still had that kind of academia alongside the creative side. And I think university gets judged, like it doesn't matter if you go to a Met or a Polytechnic or a Redbrick, it depends on which course you're going to do. I mean, I know that a lot of like more vocational courses, so hands-on things, are better at Mets. It was just a personal preference. I really wanted to go to a Redbrick Russell Group university, and I wanted to go somewhere that was really highly regarded, which is why I decided to do a creative course with quite a lot of academic elements at Leeds University. But again, go to open days, have a look, see where works for you. I really wanted to go to a campus-based university, and Leeds University is amazing on campus. Another great way I'd say is a great way to make friends at university is to join societies. I did not join any societies in my first year of university. What an idiot. All my friends that I did make had made really good friends from societies, and it was only in second year that I kind of did netball and cheerleading just because I was like, okay, they seem fun. It was actually nothing to do with the sport, it was just because I was like, it seems fun and I need to make friends. But I guess what I want to get across is don't be too disheartened if that does happen to you. I mean, I've met some great people through my job and through other ways. And actually, I remember the first day I got onto my course, I went back and cried. I hated it so much because I just thought the people were so horrible. I felt so judged on my course. No one was really nice to me. It was just literally me talking to 2 boys because they were the only people that would give me the time of day. And then by the time my second year came, I actually got on with my course really well. They were all really nice. I think everyone's just a bit scared, everyone's a bit judgmental, and actually my actual best friend, who is like the one person to come out of university and be my best friend, she was on my course. And it's funny because we went the whole of first year barely speaking, and it was only in like our final year that we became really good friends. So yeah. So extracurricular activities are really good. Clubs, societies, I would say if you're a sociable person, get stuck in, do it. Because trust me, like, you'll feel so great for it and you will make good friends. University can be really lonely if you are just so focused on studying. You do need to have that respite and kind of make friends too. So I know I said at the start that studying is kind of like the bottom of the pile, but obviously do not flunk your degree. So many people kind of do that. I had a lot of friends from university who kind of like dropped out or failed modules, and you kind of have to get the perfect balance between going out, having friends, being sociable, and also doing well in your degree. So I did a year abroad, so my first year I had to get like over 70, I think. Yeah, you had to get a first in your first year in order to go on your year abroad. So everyone else kind of played their first year really cool, but because I knew I wanted to do a year abroad, I was like, oh my god, I need to do really well in this because I wanted to go to a really good university abroad. So it depends how you want to play it. I mean, I would say just work as hard as possible. With the best thing about university is you kind of get like quite a lot of time off, and then for me it was like crunch time, like 4 weeks before exams, 4 weeks before deadlines. It depends on what course you're doing, but you figure it out and you realise that when you need to really work. And the issue is a lot of people don't. So you'll have like half your friends who are really intelligent and they're working really hard and they walk out with really good grades, and then half of them stay in that kind of night out zone and don't do that. So you really do need to push yourself. Like, university is hard no matter what course you do and what university you go to. It is really hard, it's very challenging, so make sure you push yourself. Please do not flunk your degree. University costs a lot of money, and there's so many people who will tweet things like, oh, I paid £9,000 to watch a PowerPoint, and I agree, it's very frustrating, but sadly that's the world we live in. And I do feel like at Leeds University anyway, I did have a really good experience. I had great lecturers, I did learn a lot, I really did enjoy the course. It was a course I was so absorbed in and like in love with, but then by the end of it I decided, nah, not for me. Far too, just not what I wanted to do really. And the good thing is, in my final year I got the opportunity to choose like any module I wanted and I could trade one of mine in. So then I chose something from the business school and I was so much happier. I kind of sat there with these business school students and I was like, what? You've been studying this for like 3 years? And they were like, yep. And that's when I was like, oh my god, I have been doing the wrong degree. So don't follow my footsteps, really research your degree. I mean, it's difficult because you grow and you change as a person throughout your degree. So I mean, my main tip is make sure you focus, do not flunk your degree, get the perfect like work and going out balance, exercise, because so many people eat McDonald's after every night out. I was that person. And then don't exercise. As long as you exercise and have that balance, you're okay to kind of stop your eating well for a little bit. But yeah, this has turned into such a rambly video. It was meant to be more informal, but I hope you guys like this and can make sense of what I'm saying. Final year is obviously the most difficult year and it hits everyone like a ton of bricks. First year is really fun, you go out a lot. Second year, yeah, fun, go out a lot, but there's a huge jump. Well, for me, it was second year was like, whoa, that was difficult. My third year I went on a year abroad, and if year abroad is like an option for you, please take it. It was absolutely amazing. I was so petrified like the whole time of doing a year abroad. I was like, am I really doing this? To the point where I didn't even book my flight. I booked my flight like 5 days before because I was so petrified. I was like, this is not happening. I am not doing a year abroad. I did it, and honestly, like, it was insane, like the people I met and the experience. But it wasn't even like that. It was that was the first flight I'd ever got on by myself. So getting on that, and I've done hundreds of flights by myself now, but getting on that plane by myself with my life in 2 suitcases and saying goodbye to my mum and leaving my life behind for a year is the most like character building thing you will ever do. I was like, why am I doing this? I was crying. I was like, I hope my visa doesn't get accepted. I hope I don't have to do it. And I always said to my mum, even if I land in Canada and then come straight back home, I've done it, and I've done the hardest bit, saying goodbye when everything's fine at home. And trust me, it's the most character building thing you'll ever do. Like, I cannot recommend it enough. And it's one of those things where you just have to face your fears, and that was like, it's changed me as a person. To me, that made me who I am. And I kind of started university. First year I don't really know what my personality was, a bit of a mixture of like the high school bitchiness with the judgmentalness. And I'm not afraid to admit that high school kind of makes you like that. To then first year I realised, oh, actually people are really nice and I don't have to hang around in a cliquey group. To then second year I was like starting to really kind of settle in and think I was like, you know, I knew where I was and what I was doing. Third year completely changed me as a person. I stepped away from the people on my course, stepped away from everything I knew at home, started in a new country, and it was a French speaking country as well. Had to make new friends from scratch, really focused on the things I didn't do in first year, e.g. making friends, getting involved, and I just had the best year of my life. No matter what happens, that will always be the most amazing year of my life. I don't know how anything will ever top that. Came back in fourth year. Wow, that was a struggle. Coming back from a year abroad or a year in industry, which both give you invaluable kind of things in life and skills, was just so difficult. And obviously I went into a brand new course with new people. I didn't really speak to any of them because they were all already friends. They'd all gelled. They'd been in a degree for like 3 years together. But instead I got my head down and I thought, focus. I knew I was juggling my blog, I was juggling my degree, and obviously doing final year in itself is so difficult. So to juggle a blog at the same time, and also throughout my whole degree I did have a part-time job. I don't know how people would say to me, oh yeah, I'm getting first, and I'd be like, of course you're getting first, you literally only do a degree. And I understand that it's so difficult, but I had a part-time job the whole way through university, and I just saw my friends like being handed money by their parents, and I was like, I wish that was me. But then at the same time I don't, because having that part-time job and juggling that and managing that with living away from home and having to do a degree really kind of helped me grow as a person. See, all of these things are character building. But yeah, so in my final year I got my head down and I thought, just focus. I knew I had my dissertation to do, and my dissertation was like looming over my head, and I knew that it was holding me back so much from doing my blog. So I just remember making myself like a priority list. I'd be like, okay, 15 essays to do. I'd write them down, and when I knew, I'd get them in before they were even due, because I was like, I just need to take them off, then I can get on with my life, By the end of your degree, you're just like, I'm done with this, I just need to get this done. And honestly, it's okay to cry a lot. I wanted to drop out the whole time in my final year, but if I can juggle all of that, then you can. Like, it was fine, and I got there, and I kept thinking to myself from a pride point of view, a money point of view, just stick with it. Like, you've stuck it out for 3 years, come on, a final year, you can do this. And I did it, and it was good, and I got through it, and I got the grade I wanted, and I was beyond happy. So with my dissertation, if you are doing a dissertation, I chose a topic I was in love with, so I found it actually quite easy. I enjoyed doing it, which is weird. But say my deadline was May, and I knew my deadline was May, and you're giving your dissertation in September, rather than being like, oh, I've got all the time till May, every single week I'd be like, okay, 500 words. And Matt was like, oh, let's go away to China in March. And I was like, okay, that's my goal. So by Easter, I had a full finished draft, and no one was at that stage really. And because I was like forced to do that, I had my full dissertation finished and ready to do all of my checks and everything way before deadline. So I think that's the best way with university. Some people work really well under pressure. Exams I cannot revise in advance. I have to like just cram 1 to 2 weeks before. That's just how my mind works. But with essays and with dissertations, try and leave as much time as possible. Like, if you can have a week beforehand and left while it's the finished article to go over it and make checks and proofread and everything, then you are on to a winner. So yeah, there we have it. I feel like I've covered everything. I've probably missed a lot of stuff actually, but let me know, leave a comment below with anything you want to talk about university. Are you going? What do you want to study? Did you not go? If not, why not? Let me know. Did you live in home? Did you live in halls? Did you move away? Just let me know. Let's chat, and let me know what else you want me to film. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Goodbye.